I'm Raluca Lucavolt and I am founding partner and manager at Luvo Insight. For those of you who have been following us lately, you might have noticed that we have a soft spot for negotiations. This is what we are going to present to you today. However, we are going to provide you with a more in-depth approach, a different one, in this video. In negotiations, it's all about asking the right questions. But how do you do that? Where do you start? I want to tell you that there are two types of languages that are very important in negotiations. Among others, those are the calibrated questions and the hypnotic language. In today's video, we're going to talk about the calibrated questions. Those are the questions that you calibrate in order to make your counterpart get where you want him or her to. How do you do this? By following three simple rules. First rule is to avoid closed questions, meaning those that start with can, are, is, and other variations. This is because they require a yes or no answer from your counterpart instead of basically pushing him or her to reveal more information that you can use in your discussion. Rule number 2 is to try to understand their ideas and their motives. And how do you do that? By respecting rule number 3. Rule number 3 means that you are supposed to ask questions, calibrated questions, that are more open-ended, meaning those that include or that start with what, where, when, how, and why. About the why word we're going to discuss a bit later on because it's a bit tricky. These kind of open-ended questions basically push your counterpart to speak freely and to lower their guard. This is why they are speaking freely, because they seem that they are comfortable and that they have all the power to reveal the information that they want. However, be careful about the why, because it can be quite inquisitive and it can trigger a flight or flight reaction from your counterpart. This means he or she can either be more aggressive or they can have a lockdown. Only use it with a calm, relaxing, and respectful tone, and only when you wish to show a change that it is important for the conversation. For example, I'm going to provide you with the following question, and I would like you to note the difference in tone and the effect it can have on the question. So, version number 1. Why would you consider terminating a contract for a company that has provided you with more than 50% of the profit last year? As opposed to version number 2, why would you consider terminating the contract of a company that has brought you more than 50% of the profits? See, the change in tone? Paraverbal language is very important. How would you react to these two different versions of the same question? This is why you should be very careful on using why when you start a question, because in a negotiation it might very well happen that you are so much into the conversation that you might show that you are more aggressive than you actually are. Try how or what instead. Many and almost every question can be constructed around these words, beginning with these words. For example, what is your opinion on Mike's proposal? Or what is the objective? How can we find a solution to this matter? This all pushes your interlocutor to provide an explanation, to show his or her knowledge in the field. These calibrated questions basically make your counterpart feel that they are the one behind the wheel, that they are the one driving you to the destination that they want, when in fact it is you who are designing the entire conversation so that you can bring them to your goal. The idea is that in general it's about taking into account their considerations and their motives, and not to put their ideas against them. Take, for example, the following situation. Let's say your manager wishes to finish the project earlier than expected. Let's say in the half time that the deadline proposed. And instead of saying, you can't move the deadline, we won't have time to finish the project, you can try something like, I understand why you wish to move the project. And then you can direct him where you want to go. For example, how could we meet the standard of quality in this half deadline? This is, of course, provided that the quality within that project is very important, and it's not something that it should come on the second place. In conclusion, calibrated questions make you look in the eyes of your counterpart as if you are validating his power or her power, and then you provide them the occasion to explain himself or herself, creating the illusion, creating the chimera of control. For more videos on how to boost your career or skills, follow us, and last but not least, I would like to thank you for your attention.